So I'm at Toastmasters getting ready to give a speech. It's my third speech, and I don't know if you've ever been to Toastmasters before. It's a pretty good thing. I recommend it. When you first go, they give you like these 10 speeches on 10 different, not topics, but different like structures. And the more you go through, you learn all this stuff. And I was on my third one, so I was starting to become a little bit less nervous. But there was this guy sitting next to me that was like really nervous, and you can always tell a guy that comes the first time because they're always super nervous. And when they give their speech, they usually just like read it straight from their cards, or if they don't have a pre-written speech, they kind of, you know, stumble through it, and everyone's really nice and everything. So I'm expecting this guy to give some speech, and I'm getting ready for my speech. And I turned to the girl next to me and I asked her what time they were going to start this event, because when a friend of mine, not really a friend of a friend, told me about this party, he said that this really crazy thing happens at midnight. And I just wanted to kind of verify that with this girl that I had been talking to. And she said, yeah, it's going to go down at midnight. And I said I asked her what it was, and she said, just, you know, hang out, you'll see. Don't worry about it. Since this is your first time, you have to participate. And the way she said it, you don't have to participate. I thought it was going to be some really weird kind of thing. And it had been maybe 20 minutes, and they still hadn't brought her food yet. And I was sitting looking at mine, and you know how if you're at a restaurant, it's kind of polite to wait till everyone has their food before you start eating. And since this was our second date, I wanted to, you know, be polite and make an impression. Otherwise, I would have probably already eaten my food. And so it turns out that our waitress was this girl that I kind of hooked up with before, but I didn't remember it. And so the whole time she was looking at me with extreme hatred, and I didn't realize that because I'm, you know, an idiot. And so I finally complained to her, not knowing that she was already looking at me with extreme hatred, trying to act all tough in front of this girl that I was on a second date with. And so what happened was she went to the chef, which was her brother, who was also looking at me with extreme hatred, unbeknownst to me because I'm an idiot. And he makes this fucking poison blowfish. We were at a sushi place, and they serve it to this girl I was on a date with, and she eats it because she's hungry, she's waiting. And like 5 minutes later, she goes into convulsions and starts foaming at the mouth and falls onto the floor and starts jumping around. And then it hit me what had happened. I mean, I didn't know it was poison blowfish. I didn't find out till afterwards, but then because I looked at the waitress and she was like looking at me like with this evil grin, like, I got you, fucker. And so I just, in the commotion of people trying to help this girl I was on a date with, I just kind of got up and left. And so the guy gets up to give a speech, and he starts talking in this really strange kind of language. Not like non-English, but like English, but it was like in this weird kind of, nobody could understand what he was saying. And pretty soon everyone stood up and started taking off their clothes. And then they started getting into fights with each other. And I was like, what the fuck? I guess he was using some weird kind of hypnosis or something. And I just got up, and after I kind of escaped, and not escaped, but I stood back maybe 10, 20 yards and kind of watched this group of people, professionals, strip down and just start braining the crap out of each other. And finally, when midnight came, the people that I guess had been pre-selected to participate in this ceremony got in this circle. There's about 12 of them. They got in a circle, and they had a kind of an impromptu rock, scissors, papers kind of competition until they came up with one loser. And that loser lay down on the floor, and everybody grabbed a piece of furniture or a lamp or a book or anything heavy like a big ashtray and just started beating the crap out of this guy until he was dead. And I don't know how they choose which apartments they use for these party ceremonies, because that dude left a really uncleanable stain on the carpet. So I don't know if they chip in to pay for the cleaning or what, but it's just a weird party. There was a lot of good alcohol and food there, but I didn't really meet anybody.